Hello everyone, I am Casey the Gamer, and it's time for another game review. It's time to go on another Maverick hunting adventure with Mega Man X and Zero in Capcom's Mega Man X5. Mega Man X5 was released on November 30th, 2000 in Japan and February 1st, 2001 in North America for the PlayStation. So, I believe I got Mega Man X5 for my birthday in 2001, and it was another game in the series that I loved. X and Zero are back for another crazy battle against the Mavericks. In X5 though, the stakes are higher than they've ever been. Well, they were pretty high at the end of X4, but X5 is crazy right from the get-go. Now let's jump into Mega Man X5 and see what our heroes have to deal with this time. There are spoilers ahead for the story of the game. Mega Man X5 has a few different endings depending on how events unfold in the game. I will go over the best or the canon scenario, and then go over X's other ending, as well as the ending for Zero's playthrough. The game opens up with a mysterious, totally not Sigma character talking to another new character about dropping a virus-filled space colony on the Earth. The new mystery character is excited about scattering the virus, and he wants to do it himself, but the not Sigma character says that he will be handling it personally. Maverick Hunter X teleports into the city, which has been overrun with Mavericks. Alia, a navigator from Maverick Hunter HQ, tells X that Sigma suddenly appeared and moved towards the statue in the city. So it was Sigma. Well, they're really getting that reveal out of the way early this time. Anyway, X fights his way through the city and makes his way to the statue. Zero teleports in and is damaged slightly from a scuffle with Sigma. Sigma appears from out of the head of the statue and attacks X. X and Sigma have a brief battle, with X ending up victorious. Sigma explodes, and the virus begins to spread all over the Earth, severely infecting the Reploids. Zero curses Sigma, realizing that he lost to them on purpose. Zero then decides that they need to evacuate immediately. Both Alia and the new leader of the Maverick Hunters, Cygnus, ask X and Zero if they're alright. Cygnus states that the Earth has gone into panic mode because of the Sigma virus, and that they need to report back to base immediately. X and Zero return to base, and Cygnus informs them that the situation is much worse than expected, stating that in addition to the widespread panic from the Sigma virus spreading, now the space colony Eurasia is on a collision course with Earth. It's going to crash into the Earth in just 16 hours. The space colony crashing would annihilate everything on the planet. Alia comes up with the idea of destroying the space colony with a very old weapon at the Hunter base, a giant laser called the Enigma. They also have a space shuttle they could use to crash into the colony, but the autopilot is busted, so someone would have to fly it there themselves. Cygnus asks about the condition of the Enigma, and Douglas, the tech guy, says it's far from perfect and that in order to use it, they'd need to build it up with some parts. Cygnus states that not many Maverick Hunters are left due to the virus, and that they must join forces with their remaining brothers to complete the Enigma. So the pattern of 8 Mavericks continues. However, there are only 4 Mavericks that have parts for the Enigma. The other 4 Mavericks have parts for the shuttle. X heads out to defeat the first Maverick and get the first part of the Enigma. Upon returning to base, X and the others are greeted with a message from the other mysterious Reploid aiding Sigma. This Reploid is Dynamo, and he says that he plans to attack the Hunter base very soon. After defeating the next Maverick, true to his word, Dynamo shows up looking for a fight. X asks Dynamo who he is and what he wants. Dynamo simply responds that he wants to disturb what X and the others are doing, but he doesn't intend to kill X. X and Dynamo battle, with X putting Dynamo in his place. Dynamo retreats for now. X tracks down and defeats the other two Mavericks, obtaining the final parts needed for the Enigma. The Enigma is set up and aimed at the space colony. Cygnus gives the order and the Enigma is fired. The giant laser blast impacts with the space colony, but doesn't end up destroying it. It only ends up delaying the impact by a little bit longer. So now it's on to Plan B, the space shuttle. Time to go after the other four Mavericks to gather parts for it. After defeating the next Maverick, Zero reveals that he's been fighting the Sigma virus for a long time. He wonders if it's the virus that causes all Reploids to go Maverick. Then why is it making him stronger? Zero has a bad feeling about what could be happening to him. Another new character, Lifesaver, is going over Zero's report with Cygnus. Lifesaver can't even begin to guess what will happen, but suggests that Cygnus take action, begging him to do something about Zero before it's too late. X goes on to defeat the next Maverick, and then Dynamo pays the hunters another visit. X sends Dynamo packing once again. X then destroys the final two Mavericks and gets the last parts for the shuttle. The shuttle is upgraded, and Zero decides to be the one to pilot it. Zero flies off into space towards the colony. Zero flies around all of the debris and crashes the shuttle into the space colony, completely destroying it. Luckily, Zero managed to detach the escape pod just in time. Everyone is relieved that he's alright. Zero returns to Earth and is brought back to base by Lifesaver. Suddenly, Alia gets a new powerful virus reading. The scraps of the colony virus and the Sigma virus have combined into the Zero virus. Alia gives X the coordinates of where the virus emerged for him to go investigate. X heads to the area and fights his way through the Mavericks and the virus present there. At the end, X comes face to face with the Shadow Devil, a callback to the Yellow Devil in the original Mega Man. X defeats the Shadow Devil and moves further into the area and encounters a new version of Rangda Bangda from Mega Man X1. X manages to defeat it as well. Venturing further into the virus-infected area, X finds a secret Dr. Light capsule. Dr. Light upgrades X with the ultimate armor for the remainder of his journey. X runs into Zero and wonders what he's doing there. Zero says that he was there looking for clues. X is worried about Zero being around so much of the virus and wants him to get out of there. Zero insists that he's fine. X says that he will fight Zero if he has to in order to bring him back to the base. X and Zero begin their battle, trading crazy moves back and forth. Both X and Zero pass out from exhaustion. Sigma shows up and attempts to kill X right then and there. Zero jumps between the two and blasts Sigma with his arm cannon, getting Sigma to back off and retreat. Zero declares that he will defeat Sigma once and for all. X and Zero head back to base to prepare for the final mission. X makes his way through more of the virus area and encounters the rebuilt Mavericks. X makes short work of them and finally finds Sigma. X questions why Sigma did what he did. Sigma says it was because of Zero. He wanted to awaken Zero's true self. He wanted to find out what Zero truly is, so he scattered the virus all over the planet to purify Zero's body. Unfortunately, the amount of the virus wasn't enough, so Sigma turned the space colony into a virus colony. X tells Sigma he is sick for almost annihilating the Earth just for that. X claims that he'll never forgive Sigma for this. Not that Sigma's worried about that, but hey, typical good guy speak. X and Sigma begin their battle. The two trade attacks with each other until X manages to destroy Sigma's first form. Sigma reveals his largest and most imposing form yet. Sigma reveals that he recently acquired a new partner that has created quite a few robots, and he's also responsible for Sigma's new body, the toughest body yet. Sigma explains that his new partner also hates X, and it's now time for X to feel their combined rage. After a hard-fought battle, X manages to defeat Sigma's second form. Sigma claims that he'll never die alone. He plans to take Zero with him. X tells Sigma to stop using Zero as a shield. Sigma laughs as he explodes. After the explosion clears, X finds Zero badly damaged. Zero is missing his legs and one of his arms. X picks him up and tries to get him to wake up. Suddenly, the remains of Sigma appear and tell X to drop dead. X realizes that he's in trouble, and Sigma launches a mouth beam that blasts through both X and Zero's chests. Zero somehow regains consciousness, and as he's falling through the air, blasts Sigma with his arm cannon, killing him. Zero hits the floor and tries to get X to answer him. But it's too late. X is gone. As he's dying himself, Zero says that X should live. Dr. Light appears and tells X that it's not time yet, and to just hold on for a few moments. The ending cuts to 3 years later. Alia informs X and a new group of Maverick hunters about a large Maverick attacking. X tells them to get a move on and go after the Maverick. One of the hunters narrates, stating, "Since that time, X's eyes have changed and sharpened. X now feels like he can face any enemy, as long as he has Zero's saber." And that's the mostly canon ending to Mega Man X5. I say mostly canon because some things were retconned slightly in X6, but we'll get to those when the time comes. As I mentioned earlier, X has another ending and Zero also has an ending. So let's talk about those now. In the other scenario for X, both the Enigma and the shuttle fail, causing huge chunks of the colony to crash into the Earth, causing serious damage. Zero survives the ordeal with the shuttle, but returns to Earth in his awakened state. Zero challenges X to a fight, and X accepts his challenge. X and Zero meet up and the battle begins. Zero pulls absolutely no punches in his awakened form. Despite this, X still manages to come out on top. Both X and Zero pass out like in the other scenario. Sigma shows up to kill X, but this time Zero jumps in the way and takes the hit for X. Sigma decides to leave and spare X, even though he could literally kill him right now. But whatever. Zero is dying, and X doesn't want him to go, but it's too late. X presses on and battles with Sigma again. X defeats both of Sigma's forms, and Sigma claims that once again he won't be dying alone, that he's taking Zero with him. Even though Zero already died in this scenario? They should have changed the dialogue up here for sure. Anyway, Sigma explodes and X is severely damaged. Dr. Light shows up again to repair X. 1 week later, X is working with some other hunters on rebuilding stuff. X has no memory of what happened. He knows who Sigma is, but he doesn't remember Zero at all. X thinks that whoever repaired him must have deleted the data about Zero, maybe by mistake. Alia, Cygnus, and Douglas talk about the situation. There's some sort of protection in place. X won't accept any new data about Zero at all. The other hunters ask X about what his dream is. X replies that he wants to create Elysium, a paradise where humans and Reploids can coexist. X is determined to make it a reality one day. As for Zero, the scenario plays out pretty much the same until the fight with X and Zero. Before that though, if you pick up an armor capsule for X as Zero, Zero asks Dr. Light about the old professor that's been plaguing his dreams, wanting to know if Dr. Light knows who he is. Dr. Light says that he might if he saw him. Dr. Light says that the data must be a fragment created by error and that he wouldn't worry about it. Zero says he doesn't worry about it, but when he saw Dr. Light, he just felt compelled to ask. Dr. Light apologizes for being unable to answer Zero's question. Zero says never mind, and he'll make sure X gets the armor data. Okay, So now everything plays out the same until we get to the fight with X and Zero. On his way through the third virus area, Zero runs into Dr. Light again, who enhances him with the black armor set. Zero proceeds further, and X teleports in with 2 lifesavers. Zero and X once again argue about who needs to go back to base, which leads to the 2 of them fighting each other. As before, both X and Zero are exhausted, and Sigma shows up to kill X. Zero jumps in and shoots at Sigma, causing him to retreat. Zero tracks down Sigma for their final battle. Sigma tries to convince Zero to acquire his true power, but he's not interested, stating that he has his true power. Sigma tells Zero that he met an old man who knows a lot about Zero. This old man told Sigma that Zero is something far greater than he appears to be. This is what caused Sigma to scatter the virus in the first place. Zero and Sigma's battle begins, and Zero manages to defeat Sigma's first form. Sigma tells Zero that the old man claims that Zero is the strongest in the universe. Sigma asks Zero to tell him who the old man is. Zero says that he doesn't know him, but Sigma claims that he must, asking if Zero has met him in his dreams. Zero still says that he doesn't know him. Sigma says that the old man is very interested in Zero, as if he was Zero's own father. Zero tells Sigma to shut up, and the final battle begins. Zero defeats Sigma, and Sigma says that he's going to take both X and Zero with him this time. Sigma explodes, and Zero is badly damaged like before. X tries to get him to wake up when Sigma shoots through both X and Zero. Zero shoots and kills Sigma, and then realizes X has died. Zero begins to have memories of his past. He sees himself fighting Sigma back when he was a Maverick. Zero feels pain and realizes his energy is running out, and the memory device is malfunctioning. Zero sees an image of the old man who haunts his nightmares, still wondering who he is. Zero then sees himself as he's being built. Zero finally gets the meaning of the dreams. Zero realizes the old man is building him, the one who destroys Reploids. Zero thinks of Iris and apologizes for what happened. Zero says that he thinks that he needs to die in order to restore the peace, and says goodbye as the screen fades to black. I like to think that Zero's ending and X's good ending are connected. Zero thinks all of those things before dying, and then X gets repaired by Dr. Light. That way there's at least something positive that comes out of it. Something. Mega Man X5 definitely had some translation errors or weird wording choices. So the old man in both X and Zero's dialogues with Sigma is supposed to be Dr. Wily, and it definitely comes across that way in Zero's story, and it kinda does in X's until Sigma says that Dr. Wily and X used to be comrades. I don't know what that's about. It's weird. And then also the scenario where Zero becomes his true self and dies before the final battle with Sigma. Sigma still says that he's going to take Zero with him, even though Zero's already dead. Mega Man X5 was originally intended to be the final entry in the X series before they moved on to the Mega Man Zero series, which is why there's a lot of finality to the story. And the game is full of callbacks to earlier X games and games from the original series. Mega Man X5 plays just like the other games in the series. You'll be blasting or slicing your way through the game with X or Zero. There are a couple of new things for movement in Mega Man X5. You can now duck and attack while ducking. I really love this feature. It's awesome. And now there's also these rope things placed in certain areas. You can hook onto them to get over the gaps. So like in Mega Man X4, when you start the game, you are given the option to choose between X or Zero. Unlike Mega Man X4, X and Zero don't have separate campaigns, just slight differences depending on who you beat the game as, like I talked about in the story section. After playing the opening level, you're able to choose who you want to play as on each level. If you start the game as X, you get his armor from Mega Man X4, which is a great bonus early in the game. If you start the game as Zero, you get to use Zero's arm cannon, which is kinda garbage in this game. Zero's buster makes him stand in place and fire a charge shot. It looks cool, but it doesn't do that much damage. Starting with X is definitely the better option in that regard. X's armor isn't as good as it was in X4 as it doesn't come with the Nova Strike at all. The energy consumption for special weapons is now reduced by 50% instead of negating it completely. And the plasma shot only leaves behind one plasma ball. The legs still allow you to hover and air dash though. It's still better than starting with no armor. Both X and Zero play pretty much like they did in the last game, with Zero retaining the air dash ability from the start and X getting to use it via his armor. Zero will also obtain many of the movement options and saber abilities he got in X4, just with some different elements attached to them, but I'll talk more about them later. So in Mega Man X5, there is a time limit to complete the stages and get the items you need to stop the space colony from crashing into the Earth. You have 16 hours total. Each time you visit a stage, it costs you an hour. The less time remaining, the higher level the bosses will be, which can get you some bonus items. Each Maverick has a part for the Enigma Cannon or the Space Shuttle. Both the cannon and shuttle can fail or succeed, even if you have all of the parts. It's all RNG, so best of luck to you. Like in every game, there are 8 heart tanks to collect to increase your health in each of the 8 stages. You are able to increase your health even further by fighting bosses at higher levels. You're given the option at the end of a stage to create a weapon and a life up or a weapon energy up. I typically always go for the life up. There's a good amount of weapons, or parts really. They're called parts in-game. You can equip them to X or Zero. They all have varying effects like decreasing damage, jumping higher and further, running faster, and so many more. Also in the stages to find are the 2 sub-tanks to refill your energy, the weapon energy tank to refill weapon energy, and the EX tank to have your character start with 4 lives. Mega Man X5 features 2 brand new armor sets for X to collect as well, the Falcon armor and the Gaia armor. The Falcon armor parts can be found in the stages on the left of the screen, and the Gaia armor parts are found in the stages on the right. One new and annoying thing for the armor sets in Mega Man X5 is that you can't use any of their abilities until you have all 4 pieces of that particular armor set. The leg upgrade for the Falcon armor is located in Crescent Grizzly stage, and it allows X to fly through the air. X is invincible while flying. The body upgrade is found in Tidal Whales stage and reduces the amount of damage that X takes. The head upgrade is located in Volt Kraken stage and reduces the amount of energy needed for special weapons. And the arm cannon upgrade is located in Shining Fireflies stage and gives X a special charge shot, but it does not allow him to charge special weapons. The Falcon armor also has a Giga attack that launches shots up and down the screen, damaging all the enemies on screen. The leg upgrade for the Gaia armor can be found in Spike Rose Red stage, and it allows X to walk on spikes. That is awesome. The head upgrade is located in Dark Necrobat stage and does nothing. Except complete the look, I suppose. The body upgrade is located in Spiral Pegasus' stage, and it reduces the damage that X takes. The arm cannon upgrade is found in Burn Dinorex's stage, and it gives X an incredibly powerful but short-range charge shot. The charge shot can destroy enemy projectiles, and it also destroys certain blocks as well. The Gaia armor also has a short-range Giga attack that launches a destructive ball of energy right in front of X. The Gaia armor is super slow, and you can't use special weapons with it, but it can stick to the walls, which is pretty cool. Another downside for the Gaia armor is that you likely won't be using it much. You have to have the Falcon armor to get some of the pieces, so you'll likely only be using the Gaia armor to backtrack and get some of the items that you missed. There are some heart tanks that you can only get with the Gaia armor, which means that Zero can't get all of them. Thankfully, there are those extra life ups to make up for it. So before jumping into the boss order, I'm going to talk about Zero's skills and moves. Like I said earlier, he starts with the air dash from the previous game. Beating bosses will give him the Crescent Sword, which is the spin slash and double jump. F Splasher, which gives him an icy barrier while air dashing, which will damage enemies. E Blade is a lightning uppercut. C Flasher is like his Giga attack from the last game. Darkhold freezes time. X also gets this move. There is the W Shredder, which sends out a shadow clone of Zero that will damage enemies. Quake Blazer is a fiery dive attack. And Twin Dream also produces a clone of Zero, but this one performs the same move as Zero. This is very similar to X's Soul Body from the last game. So now it's time for the boss order. It's the same for both X and Zero, so that's good. Get through the intro stage and defeat Giant Head Sigma to kick off the game's events. Time to gather items for the Enigma. I start with Crescent Grizzly because he's easy enough to beat with Buster or Saber only. Crescent Grizzly is weak to Spike Ball or Twin Dream that X and Zero get from Spike Rose Red. Next up, our heroes take a swim and battle Tidal Whale, who is weak to Sea Shot and Sea Sword. Then we have a frustrating wave bike section to go after Volt Kraken, who is easily defeated with the Goo Shaver and F Splasher. X and Zero then pay a visit to Shining Firefly and defeat him with the Tri-Thunder and E-Blade. Once the first 4 bosses are defeated and the parts for the Enigma are obtained, they launch the cannon at the space colony, and it either destroys it or just delays it. In my playthrough, it only delayed it. So now on to Operation Shuttle. Next to join the scrap heap is Dark Necrobat by using the F Laser and the C Flasher. Time to pay a visit to the Reploid Air Force and defeat Spiral Pegasus by freezing him in place with the Darkhold, and then just kicking his ass. Our heroes then journey to a volcano base to fight Burn Dino Rex with Wing Spiral and W Shredder. And finally, they head to the jungle and roast Spike Rose Red with Ground Fire and Quake Blazer. The shuttle is then launched and succeeds in destroying the space colony, opening up the final set of stages. There are a ton of callbacks in these stages. The first of the Zero space stages features crazy death lasers like in Quickman stage from Mega Man 2. And it ends with a boss fight with the Shadow Devil, which is a reference to the Yellow Devil in the original Mega Man series. The Shadow Devil is weak to the Tri-Thunder and E-Blade. And if you're having trouble with those lasers, you can use the Darkhold to freeze time. You just have to watch your weapon energy bar. The next stage features a callback to the first Mega Man X, with the placement of some of the platforms, as well as a new version of the Rangda Bangda boss from the same game. Rangda Bangda's different parts all have a different weakness. The green eye is weak to the C-Shot or C-Sword. The blue eye is weak to Ground Fire or Quake Blazer. The red eye is weak to Tri-Thunder or E-Blade. And the sun is weak to the Goo Shaver or the F Splasher. The third stage features the battle with X and Zero. Zero is weak to the X-Buster or the Nova Strike from the Ultimate Armor. Or if you're playing as Zero, X is weak to the Z-Saber, C-Flasher, and Quake Blazer. Then there's the boss rush, and they're all weak to the same stuff. Then we move on to Sigma. Sigma's first form is weak to the Tri-Thunder and the E-Blade, and his second form is weak to the Spike Ball and Twin Dream. And Sigma has been defeated once again, but our heroes are definitely looking a bit worse for wear by the end of it. Also throughout the adventure, Dynamo pops up for a fight a couple of times. Dynamo is weak to the Wing Spiral and W Shredder. Dynamo's just annoying. Another threat that pops up during the stages are the Sigma Virus and Zero Virus enemies. If X gets hit by too many of them, he takes damage. If Zero gets hit by too many of them, he gets healed and is invincible for a limited time. The Ultimate Armor and the Black Armor for X and Zero return. You can get them from the start with a cheat code like an X4, but in X5 you can actually get them legitimately in one of the final stages. The ultimate armor for X once again reduces the amount of damage he takes, lets him air dash and hover, reduces the amount of energy needed for special weapons, gives him the plasma shot, and gives him the unlimited Nova Strike. In X4, Zero's black armor was just cosmetic, but in X5 it reduces the amount of damage Zero takes, and it increases the power of his saber, as well as giving him more weapon energy. Mega Man X5 is so much fun to play, and just like in X4, I prefer playing as Zero. His moveset and playstyle just feels so good. So some of you may have noticed that I called the bosses by their original Japanese translated names. I've just gotten used to it. When Mega Man X5 was first released, the bosses all had Guns N' Roses inspired names, like Grizzly Slash, Axel the Red, Duff McWhalen, just to name a few. There's also a training mode in this game that just teaches you how to play it. It does feature a cameo from Magma Dragoon from Mega Man X4 as the boss for it though, so that's pretty cool. There are a couple of annoying things for Mega Man X5, like the introduction of Alia. I love the character, but the way they used her was so annoying. She constantly interrupts the flow of gameplay to tell you how to play the game. Sure, it might be good for new players, but I wish there was a way to turn it off. Plus there's that training mode I just mentioned. The RNG aspect of the game, when it comes to the Enigma or the space shuttle, is really only a pain in the ass if you want the good ending, or if you're playing as Zero. If you're playing as Zero and everything fails, you lose Zero as a playable character, giving you a very underpowered X. You can try to reload your game to see if the RNG changes, but yeah, it's a bit of a pain. And then there is Bolt Kraken's Wave Bike segment. You have to collect all of these energy balls in order to get the armor capsule there, which can be a huge pain because it's so easy to die in this stage. I mean, shit, the stage will kill you if you're not paying attention before it even finishes asking you if you're ready. Mega Man X5 features the same incredible graphics as the previous game. X and Zero and all of the Mavericks look fantastic. This game also has one of my favorite Sigma designs in his first form, and I love a lot of the backgrounds as well. The last stage got a little trippy to look at though. The sound effects are once again great and sound just like they should. I have no complaints. And the soundtrack is also amazing. So many favorites and callbacks. The opening theme, the opening stage themes for both X and Zero, the stage select theme, Volt Kraken, Shining Firefly, Tidal Whale, which is a remix of Bubble Crab's theme from X2, Zero Stage 1, the X vs. Zero theme, oh my god, Zero's death theme, and the ending themes are all some of my favorites in this game. Damn, that's a lot. Instead of anime cutscenes with bad voice acting, the game tells a lot of its story through still shots with text-based dialogue and sound effects, which is fine with me. They do have some really cool art, though I do prefer the anime cutscenes, just maybe with some better acting. Mega Man X5 is one of my favorites in the series, even with its flaws. I love the story for it with its crazy high stakes, and as much as I love X4, I think this is the one I played the most out of the PlayStation series as a kid. I remember spending the summer at my brother's house and playing this one on repeat way more than the others I brought with me. I also remember leaving the screen paused on some of the cutscenes so I can try and draw the characters. Really fun times. Mega Man X5 definitely has those big feelings of finality to it, since it was originally supposed to be the last one. I gotta wonder how things would have turned out if they actually went through with that. Well, we have Mega Man X6 to look at the next time we dive into the X series. We'll see how that one fares. But if you've enjoyed Mega Man X1 through 4, definitely give X5 a shot. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And if you want to see more of me, I stream all kinds of things over on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/CaseyTheGamer91. And I also have a Patreon where you can get perks like early video access and some other cool perks. And that is patreon.com/CaseyTheGamer91. And you can find both of those links and all of my other links in the description below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to catch you next time. Peace out.